Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class, we have completed our discussion with the topic of governor. Okay, so friends, in this class, we will start our discussion with a fresh topic. So as you can see on the screen, the topic of today's class is the union and its territory. So in this class, we will discuss about the topic of union and its territory in a very detailed manner. So friends, let's begin. So friends, the first and the most important question is that in which part of the Indian Constitution the topic of union and its territory is given. And after that, the next important question is that in which articles of the Indian Constitution the topic of union and its territory is given. So friends, if you will read the Constitution of India, then you will find that the topic of union and its territory is given under part 1 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so in the beginning, when I was teaching you, when I actually started the course of Indian polity for UPSC, so I left this topic to be covered in the last, because this is a very simple topic. So first of all, I have covered all the important and the complex and difficult topics. Okay, and in the last I am taking all the simple topics. So as this topic was very simple, that's why I am taking this topic in the last of the lecture series. Okay, but this part means the union and its territories. This chapter means this part is given under part 1 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so if I will ask you the question that in which part of the Indian Constitution union and its territory is given, so you can say that sir, under part 1 of the Indian Constitution union and its territory is given. Okay, now after that the question is which articles cover this topic, means under which article of the Indian Constitution the topic of union and its territory is given. So the answer to this question is that article 1 to 4 of the Indian Constitution, means article 1, article 2, article 3 and article 4. So these 4 articles covers the topic of union and its territories. Okay, so friends, in this class we have to study the part 1 of the Indian Constitution and we have to look into detail into the meaning of these 4 articles of the Indian Constitution. So first of all, we will study these articles and then I will tell you that what is the meaning and what is the application or implication of these articles. So friends, as I have promised you in the beginning, so definitely we will also cover this chapter with our very focus on the basic concepts. Okay, so friends, if I ask one question from you, okay, and this is my question to all my students, and what is my question? So my question is that what is the name of your country? Okay, what is my question? My question is that what is the name of your country? So now some of the students will say that sir, we are not studying in KG or first class that you are asking from us the name of our country. But then also I want all of you to give name of your country. Okay, so definitely when I will ask you the name of your country, then I think all of you will say that the name of our country is India. Okay, so what you will say? You will say that sir, the name of our country is India. But instantly then I will ask you one more question. So my next question will be that what is the proof? What is the proof that the name of your country is India? Okay. Or where is it written that the name of your country is India? Then what will you say? Okay, so now this question is little bit interesting. For example, friends, Indian philosophy says that all of us are actually souls. Okay, and this body which we are having is destructible. Okay, because when we will die, then this body will be burnt and all of us are souls. So now I can ask you the counter question that where it is written that we all are souls. Or what is the proof that we all are souls? Then what you can do? You can simply go and you will take reference from any religious document. For example, you can read Bhagavad Gita, and in Bhagavad Gita you can tell me that sir, in this particular chapter and in this particular verse it is written, okay, it is written that we all are souls. Okay, so it is a proof that all of us are souls. In the similar way, if I will ask you that where it is written that the name of your country is India, or what is the proof that name of your country is India, then what you will do? Okay, so this is my first question. And my second question is that is there any other name by which we can call our country, or is there any other name which our country is having? For example, let's suppose there is a boy. Okay, let's suppose there is a boy. Now what happens that this boy has two names. Okay, for example, in his school, the friends call him Rahul. Okay, so what happens that in the school, the friends call this boy Rahul, and in his home, the parents of this boy call him Guddu. Okay, so this particular boy is actually having two names, Rahul and Guddu. In the similar way, my next question is that is our country having any other name rather than India? For example, this boy whose name is Rahul, his or Guddu is also his name. In the similar way, is India having any other name? So these are my two questions. And now I want all of my students to just pause the video and give the answer of both of these questions in the comment section. Then I will tell you the answer of both of these questions. So friends, to answer these two questions, I will suggest you to read Article 1, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. So now let's read Article 1, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 1, Clause 1 says that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. Okay, so this is the very first article of our constitution. So when you will read this article, then this article simply says that the name of our country is India. Okay, so now can you remember my first question? So my first question was that what is the proof that the name of your country is India, or where is it written that the name of your country is India? So now you can tell that Article 1, Clause 1 tells us that the name of our country is India. The Constitution of India actually tells us that the name of our country is India. And this is the proof that the name of your country is India. Okay. Now my second question was that is your country having any other name? Okay. And if yes, then what is the other name of your country? So if you will read this article further, then it says that India, that is Bharat. Okay, so it means that India has one more name, and that name of India is Bharat. Okay, so you can call your country by two names. Either you can call it India or you can call it Bharat. So there are two names which our country is having, and these two names are India and Bharat. Okay, and then it says that it shall be a union of states. Okay, so now what is the meaning of this union of states, or why it is written here that India shall be a union of states? Okay, so now let us discuss about it. So friends, my question is that this Article 1 is saying that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. So here what is the meaning of this word union of states? Okay, so this union of states actually describes the basic design of India. Okay, so this basically describes the basic design of India. Now what does it mean? So friends, in the previous classes, a number of times I have explained you the design of India. So I told you that let's suppose that if this is India, so I told you that actually there are two levels of government in India. Okay, the first level of government is called as union government, and the second level of government is called as state government. Okay, this union government can also be called as central government, and this state government can also be called as provincial government. Okay, moreover friends, there is one more type of government which is known as local government, but here we are not discussing about local government. Here we will only discuss about union and state government. Now union government has three organs, and which are those three organs of the government? Legislature, executive and judiciary. Now similar to the union, state government is also having three organs: legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, for example, the legislature of the union government is called as parliament. The executive of the union government is council of ministers headed by prime minister, and judiciary is supreme court. In the similar way, state is having its different and separate machinery. Legislature is known as state legislature. Okay, so in some of the states we are having legislative assembly and legislative council, and in some of the states we are only having legislative assembly. This we have already discussed earlier. Okay, now the executive is council of ministers headed by chief minister, and judiciary is high courts. Okay, so it means that there are two levels of government in India. Okay, union government and state governments. Now friends, when you will read the schedule 7 of the Indian constitution, then you will find that there are three lists: union list, state list and concurrent list. So what happens that in union list all those subjects are given in which on which union government will do administration, means on which the parliament will make law, and under state list all those subjects are given on which the state legislature will make law. So this simply means that there is a clear cut division of power between union and state government, and there is a similar type of machinery at the union and state level. Okay, so this is the basic design of India, and this design is described by this term union of states. Now friends, let's move forward. Now friends, you should ask me one question, and your question should be that, sir, this what you have explained to us is the design of federation. So in the previous classes you have explained us that this design is called as federation, where there is a clear cut division of power between union and states, whereas there is two levels of government. Okay, where center and union are union and states are like coordinate bodies. They are like brothers. Neither state is subordinate to union nor union is subordinate to state. Okay, so I have explained you in the previous classes that this is known as federation. So now you should ask me that, sir, now you are saying that this is union of states. So actually friends, this is called as federation. Okay, so now our question is that if this is a federal design, then why in our constitution federation of states is not used? Okay, why the constitution makers have used the word union of state instead of federation of states? Okay, so our design is federal. Okay, our design is federal, but why the constitution makers didn't use the word federation of states, and instead of federation the constitution makers used the word union of states? So now you can ask me that what is the difference between federation and union, and why the constitution makers didn't use the word federation of states, instead why they use the word union of states. So now we will discuss about it. So friends, here on the screen you can see the map of India. Okay, so this is the map of India. Okay, so this entire, okay, so this is the map of our country India. Okay, you can see on the screen clearly. Okay, and in different colors different states are shown. For example, you can see that this is state of Rajasthan, this is Maharashtra, this is Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Gujarat, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, okay, and Uttarakhand and so on. Okay, so all the states are shown in different colors, and the state boundary is drawn in the white color. Okay, so you can see that this is the state boundary between UP and MP. Okay, so now what is the meaning of union of states? So here we have to discuss that what is the meaning of union of states and why the constitution makers use the word union of states instead of federation of states. So friends, union of states basically means that states in India, for example, all these states, Rajasthan, MP, Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Telangana, okay, and all the states. So all the states in India do not enjoy the right, listen to my words carefully, they don't enjoy the right to secede from the union. Okay, they don't enjoy the right, they do not enjoy the right to secede from the union. And what is union? So entire India is called as union. So what is the meaning of union? So union here means entire India, and union of states means that all the states in this union, means all the states in India union do not enjoy the rights to secede from the India union. Now what is the meaning of secede? So secede basically means to get separated. Okay, What is the meaning of secede? So secede means to get separate. Okay, so this means that any state in India don't have the right to get separated from the Indian Union, or they do not have the right to leave Indian Union. For example, let's suppose there is one hypothetical state in Indian Union, and the name of that hypothetical state in the Indian Union is state X. Now if this state X wants to leave India Union and this state X wants to become an independent country, then this is not possible. Why? Because this state do not enjoy the right to secede from the Indian Union. This state do not enjoy the right to leave the Indian Union. So this was the significance of using the word union instead of federation in the Constitution of India. Okay. So this means that the entire Indian Union is one. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that India is not divided on the basis of states. This means that entire union is one, and this union is actually indestructible. Entire union is one, and the entire union is indestructible. Indestructible means no part of the union can be separated from the union. It is impossible. It is impossible to separate any part of the union from it. Okay, so what is the meaning of word union of states? Union of state means that the entire union is one and the entire union is indestructible. It is not possible to separate any part of the union from it. Okay, any state do not enjoy the right to separate from the union or to secede from the union. Okay, now friends, you can ask one more question from me. So friends, before you ask the question from me, I would like to tell you one more thing. Okay. So friends, in India what happens that the states do not enjoy independent identity. Okay. So no state in India is having independent identity. States are having no independent identity. Means states do not enjoy independent identity. Now what does it mean? So it simply means that the existence of states, the very existence of states is not secure in India. Okay. Now you can ask me that why the existence of states is not secure in India. So further in this chapter, I will tell you that the existence of state, the very existence of a states is actually dependent on the wish of parliament. If parliament wants, then parliament can divide a state into many parts. If parliament wants, parliament can change the name of any state. If parliament wants, then parliament can merge the two states into one. So it means that there is no permanent identity given to the states. The identity of the states is not secured. So fundamentally and basically, India is a one union and India is indestructible. Okay, so states do not have their independent identity. Now friends, it is the time for you to ask question from me. So now you should ask me one question. You should ask me that, sir, you have told us that states do not enjoy the right to secede from the union. Union is one, union is indestructible, and states even are not having their permanent identity. Their identity, their existence is actually dependent on the wish of the parliament. Then what is the significance of creating states in India? Why so many states are created in India? Okay, so what is the significance of creating these states? So friends, now I will give you answer to you. Okay, and if any one of you know the answer, then kindly use the comment section to make this session more interactive. Okay, so actually what happens that states in India are created for administrative convenience. Okay, why the states are created? So states are created for administrative convenience. Administrative convenience means actually India is a very big country. India is a very vast country. I think all of you know, or many of you know, that India is the 7th largest country in the world. Very big country. India is a very large area. India has very large diversity. Okay, India has a very large linguistic diversity, regional diversity, religious diversity. Okay, so actually it is very difficult to govern or to administer the entire country by sitting in Delhi. Okay, so it is very difficult, it will be very difficult for the political masters sitting in Delhi to govern a very big country. And moreover, these political masters don't know that what is the culture of Tamil Nadu, because it is very far away from this is very far away from Delhi. They know the culture of North India, but they don't know the language of Tamil Nadu. They don't know the culture of Odisha. They don't know that what type of practices are prevailing in Assam. Okay, so actually, if India was not divided in states, then it would have been very difficult for the political masters to govern the country. Okay, so what happened that India was divided into many states for the sake of administration, for administrative convenience, so that country can be governed easily. Why? Because now the political masters sitting in Tamil Nadu, they know better their culture. They know that what's their culture. They know that what's the language of their people. They know the aspirations of their people. Okay. So actually they are working in the overall supervision and control of New Delhi. Means of the country, of the Indian Union. But they are working independently for their people. Why? Because they know better that what are the aspirations of their people. What is the issues of their areas. Okay, but overall they are in the control of union. They are under the control of center. Okay, so what happens? States are just the administrative arms of the center. States are created for the administrative convenience. Even though a very good amount of autonomy has been given to the states in India, but states are for administrative convenience. India is a one country. India is a one country. No state has the right to secede from India. No state has its permanent identity. Their identity, their existence actually is dependent on the wish of the parliament. So this was the meaning of Union of States. And now I think that we have discussed this Union of States in a very detailed manner. So if a question is inspired from this topic in your mains exam, then all of you would be able to easily write the answer. Okay. So now let's move forward. Now friends, after that let's see that what is Article 2 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 2, the title of Article 2 is Admission or Establishment of a New States. Okay, so by just reading the title, you can just guess that Article 2 is about adding a new state in Indian Union, or it is regarding creating a new state. So now let's read what is Article 2. So Article 2 says that Parliament may by law admit. Okay, so here the word by law is very important. Admit into union or establish new states as on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit. Okay, now what does it mean? So it simply means, so I will explain you this with the help of one example. So let us suppose friends, this red circle is India. Okay, now after that let's suppose that this green circle is any other country, okay, which is nearby India, okay, or which is anywhere. Okay, so now this Article 2 says that the Parliament of India has the power to admit this territory or this state in the Indian Union. Okay, means now this country will also become the part of Indian Union. Okay, so what does it mean? It simply means that Parliament has the power to admit new states into the Indian Union. Parliament has the power to include new states into the Indian Union. Okay. Let's suppose, for example, earlier this territory, okay, means this part of land was not the part of India. Okay, it was the part of any other country, or let us suppose it was totally a separate country. Okay, but the Parliament, by making the law, has the power to include this part into Indian Union. So when Parliament will make law by using the power given to Parliament under Article 2, then this part will also become the part of India. Okay, so now I will give you one example. So what happened, friends, that earlier Sikkim was not the part of India. Okay, so when you will read the history, then you will come to know that earlier Sikkim was not the part of India. Sikkim was added in India later on. Okay, now friends, at that point of time, the parliament had the power to admit Sikkim into Indian Union just by making a simple law. Okay, and how a simple law is made? So a simple law is made by the ordinary process of lawmaking, means by a simple majority, by a majority of more than 50% of the members present and voting. Okay, so simple law means, or ordinary law means, which is passed by simple majority, which is made by simple majority. And Article 2 gives this power to the Parliament of India, that Parliament can add any part, any land, okay, any state into India by just making a simple law. So at that point of time, the parliamentarians or that the then government had the power to include the Sikkim into Indian Union by just making a simple law. What happened, that the government went by the way of constitutional amendment. Okay, so instead of by making a simple law, Sikkim was added into Indian Union by a constitutional amendment. Okay, so actually Sikkim was added into India by 36th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975. Okay, so Sikkim was added into Indian Union by 36th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975. So now you can ask one question from me. You can ask me the question that simple majority is needed in the ordinary lawmaking, and a special majority is needed in amending the constitution. Okay, and getting simple majority is easy and getting special majority is difficult. Okay, and Article 2 has empowered the constitution, Article 2 of the constitution has empowered the parliament to admit into Indian Union a new state just by making a simple law. Then why the Parliament of India did constitutional amendment for including Sikkim into Indian Union? So friends, the answer of this question is very simple. The answer is that a law which means ordinary law. Okay, so ordinary law is made by using simple majority. Okay, so which type of majority will be needed in amending or in changing a ordinary law? So you can say that, sir, it is very obvious. Okay, it is a common sense that definitely as the ordinary law is made by using simple majority, so only simple majority is needed to amend or to change the ordinary law. Okay, but for amending the constitution, okay, or for amending any constitutional amendment act, because if there is one constitutional amendment act, then actually that becomes the part of constitution. So to amend the constitution, a special majority is needed. Okay, and what is simple to get? Definitely simple majority can be get easily, but it is very difficult to get the special majority. Okay, so it was actually done so that in future, if any other government wants to interfere with the admission of Sikkim into Indian Union, okay, then it have to go by the way of constitutional amendment. So Constitutional Amendment Act actually gave extra protection. Okay, it actually gave extra protection for the admission of Sikkim into the Indian Union. Okay, so it was actually Sikkim was added into Indian Union to provide the extra protection to that law. Okay, so friends, I can give you one more example. Okay, so actually Sikkim was admitted into Indian Union via constitutional amendment. Okay, so now there is an example. So now I am giving you the example of one place which was actually admitted into Indian Union by using Article 2. Okay, so there was a place known as Chandan Nagar. Okay, what was the name of the place? The name of the place was Chandan Nagar. Okay, so earlier it was under the control of French people. Okay, so it was the French colony. Okay, so we can say that earlier it was under the control of France. It was a French colony. Okay, so it was actually taken from France. It was taken from France under Article 2 and it was included in the Indian Union under Article 2. Okay, under Article 2 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, and later on it was given to West Bengal. Okay, so it was merged with the state of West Bengal. So this can be the example of the areas included in the Indian Union by using Article 2 of the Indian Constitution. So friends, that's all for today. I hope that all of you must have enjoyed the lecture. And if you have enjoyed the lecture, then please like the video, comment, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and select all. Now friends, we will meet in next class and we will continue our discussion with this part of the Indian Constitution in the next class. And in the next class, we will complete our discussion with part 1 of the Indian Constitution. So friends, till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.